All right, we're gonna start today because if Chancey was here, she'd be like, me finna hold you up. It's 12 o'clock, it's time to get started. So again, thank you for coming to this, I believe it's our fourth or third, maybe fourth Sage Circle. And so grateful to have you all here in attendance. Today, our Sage Circle is going to be about gender responsive programs. People coming in. Okay. All right. So it's going to be speaking today about the gender responsive programming. So about us. Our vision, the Southern Black Girls Women Consortium, is a collective of funders, activists, and community leaders working to advance the movements for Black girls and women in the Deep South. Our consortium is made up of 4 anchor organizations. We have Latasha Brown from True Speak Innovation Foundation, Felicia Lucky, Black Belt Community Foundation, Margot Miller, Appalachian Community Foundation, and Alice Jenkins, Funds for Southern Community. Our motto is rooted in love, joy, and self-determination. We center Black girls and women to improve the quality of our lives for our communities and ourselves. Here are a list of our values: Black women and girl led, collective power, self-determination, integrity, respect, self-care. These are the values that the consortium live by. We have invented a new funding model for Black girls and women, where Girl-Centered Philanthropy is in alignment with the values of Black women. The Girl-Centered Philanthropy is led by the anchors, centered voices of girls, and informed by girls and girl servant organization, Black girls and women. So we launched a fund, $100 million aggregated investment in the leadership and lives of Black girls, women in the South. Southern Black Girl is proud to announce the launching of a 10-year campaign to raise $100 million to financially empower the goals of Southern Black girls and women in the South through the Black Girls Dream Fund. The new fund seeks to fundraise and shift current grant-making efforts in the South, channeling greater resources towards organizations that are intentionally supporting and empowering Black girls and women. So we have 4 funding opportunities. We have the Black Girl Dream Fund, the Black Girl Defense Fund, where the Black Girl Dream Fund is where we provide funds to Black-led women foundation that support Black girls. The Black Girl Defense Fund is a fund that we created to support Black girls in a racially a discrimination way. We founded this fund to support girls. We actually had opportunity to fund the girl, she was in Florida, the one, I don't know if you guys recall, where the school resource officer had body slammed her. So we was able to provide funds to one of our core movement partners, and where they were able to assist her with, healing, lawyer fees, resources, and all that good stuff. Our collaborative partnership philanthropy fund is where we'll be able to work partners with other funds to help support Black girls in the South. And the Innovation Fund. Our Innovation Fund is something new that hopefully we'll be able to do this year. Hopefully we'll be able to do this year. And we are really want to put funds in hand of those who are doing entrepreneurship. Our grant philanthropy. This is a model that that many of our girls have stated during our listening session we did back in 2019, where we asked Black girls in the South, the 12 states that we serve. We serve the 12 states from Louisiana all the way to West Virginia. And we figured we would like to create a model village where girls are loved and supported and not traumatized by being constantly chastised for the behavior and decisions. We are creating a space for Black girls to dream, dreams wide enough for joy. So today, our SAGE Circle is gender responsive programming, is how to create a successful gender specific program for girls and women. And we have Ms. Janelle Floyd here. Janelle is the Director of Racial Justice and Gender Equity at YWCA West Palm Beach, Florida. She is a Florida native, born in Coral Springs, Florida, and received her Bachelor degree in Communication and Psychology at the Howard University in Washington, D.C. HBCU in the house, okay? During her sophomore year at Howard, she worked at Girls Inc., where she developed and implemented her first basketball youth program titled Hoops for Girls. Throughout her, she held position at YMCA, Capitol Hill, and even the White House. Her background in communication, youth development, and public administration enabled her to be a dynamic leader, youth organizer, and community developer. After graduating, Janelle worked at Pace Center for Girls in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where she led the Girls Coordinated Council in research to help disrupt the juvenile justice system and spearheaded the Girls Voice Task Force. Janelle's ability to create gender-responsive programs led her to successfully brand and execute Girls in Christ Incorporated, 501c3. She is passionate about developing youth and providing equitable opportunities for girls and women. I here give you Ms. Janelle Floyd.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so let's see here. I'm excited to be here and I have a presentation for you all. So it is very visually pleasing. And so if you can direct your attention to the screen, we will just follow through with this. So thank you for that lovely introduction. Again, my name is Ms. Janelle Floyd. I am the Director of Racial Justice and Gender Equity down here in Palm Beach County. And so I'm very excited to talk about gender responsive programs and inspire you all to strengthen your respective organization in some aspect. I promise when you leave this presentation, you will be inspired and you will go back to your organizations, your coworkers and say, we got to move and shake the table somehow. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is do an icebreaker. If you all don't know, when working with girls or women, you always want to have some sort of icebreaker where you're allowing the individuals to express themselves, critically think, or even gather in groups so that they can learn more about themselves. So if you can, what we're going to do is a Nearpod experience. And if you don't already have something to write with in a notepad, I suggest you do, because I'm going to be dropping gems when it comes to gender responsive programs, how you can strengthen your organization. And Nearpod is actually the first thing that I would recommend. It is, if you're an educator, you might know of something like Canvas, where the online learning center. Nearpod is something similar where you can have interactive virtual online games. And so we're going to do something very quick. So what you're going to do is go to nearpod.com. Let's let it load. Nearpod.com. So join nearpod.com. I'll put that in the chat. Okay. And this is what the girls or women would do as well if they wanted to access this icebreaker. And just as I'm sharing my screen, again, this is really good for online purposes, even if you're in person and you want to get them involved really quickly. I put everything in the chat. So you're going to go to join.nearpod.com and then you're just going to type in that code. The first gem of the day, nearpod.com. I'm telling you all, there already are saved lesson plans within it. So if you go to Women's History Month, if you go to any subject, math, language arts, in the Nearpod library, there's already so many lessons that the girls can be using. Thank me later. All right, thank me later, nearpod.com. Okay, let's see if anybody joined. Hopefully you all did, because I want you all to participate so that we can see how cool and interactive it really can be. So let's see here. So what you all are actually going to do, and if you didn't join the Nearpod, that's perfectly fine. I still want you to participate. So I want you all to describe a girl in one word. When you think of a girl, the girls you serve, maybe one of your clients, what is one word that comes to mind? You can put it in the chat or you can utilize your Nearpod. Okay, yay, we do have some participants. And you all see how it's popping up. Imagine if you had a class or if you had a therapy group of about 30 individuals or even less, all of their answers would pop up. So this is really cool, especially in a digital world, being able to have the girls collaborate in some aspect. So we see leaders. When you think of girls, you think of creative, magical, brave, talented. I love this. Let's see if there's anything else. Thinking of young girls. Let's see. Radiant. Yes, see, you feel it. I think of these things too when I think of our girls that we're serving. And because we are with Southern Black girls, we know that we are serving a very high need population. And so our girls are precious and they are leaders. They're creative, magical, brave, talented, and radiant. Okay, so thank you for doing that short icebreaker. I'm going to go back to the presentation so that we can review some more icebreakers. Oh, let's see if the chat is informative. Yes, that's what we have to know. Our girls are knowledgeable. They know what they're talking about. They have passions themselves. So some other icebreaker ideas. Again, I want to encourage you all, if you have a therapy group, if you are providing any type of service, if this is your first time engaging, especially with a young girl under 18 years old, even if it's just a one-on-one interaction, you want to have some sort of icebreaker. For example, if I was to meet one-on-one with a new client and she's a young girl or a woman, at YWCA, we do serve a population that has touched the domestic violence issues. And so I have to understand that she has experienced some sort of trauma. And so maybe beginning our interaction with some discussion questions or a fun game like Connect Four would kind of break the ice so that she can see that I am here to help her. I come in peace and that I am very resourceful. That can kind of come up in conversations. So some other types of activities for icebreakers can be YouTube videos, discussion topics. As I said, there's a lot of little cards that we can buy from Amazon or our local like Walmart that have discussion questions already there for teens. So you pull out a question and it's like, what would you describe a friendship? And that begins a conversation between you and that individual, and it just breaks the ice a little bit. When you're online, I have done scavenger hunts. I say, get up, find an object that describes who you are, find an object that's your favorite color, find an object that you believe describes where you are in life. You have to be creative when you're working with girls and young women. You really do. You're gonna have to think outside the box, and the scavenger hunt, especially for an online presence, is really good. And then physical activities. Ask them to stand up, stretch. You know, TikTok dances are a thing now. So don't be afraid to have them like kind of move and groove and get into the, as I would call it, the vibe of the call, or if you're in person, the vibe of the group that you might be facilitating. And then of course, as you all will see throughout the presentation, visuals are very important for women and girls. And you'll see evidence-based approaches that showcase that girls and women do like organized, very colorful things. And so my presentation is gender responsive, as I knew that the audience would be women. And so you'll see that like, oh, wow, this is a really nice presentation. That was on purpose to keep your attention and to be excited to learn. That's what you have to use with the young girls, okay? So at the end for icebreakers, again, they're very important to create that sisterhood or family that you possibly might be trying to create within your organization or group, however you work with the girls, but allow girls to showcase their leadership, public speaking, and organizational skills by assigning tasks within programs. So for us, I wouldn't even lead the icebreaker. I would say, young girl, I think you are talented. I think you're a leader. You speak very eloquently. I want you to lead the icebreaker. I'm going to allow you to use my laptop. You're going to Google it. This is how you research, write some things down, and come back to me and we'll talk about it a little bit more. You're teaching girls, even at a young age, or even women, providing them with how to be a leader or how to create a very organized presentation. So an icebreaker is a perfect way to start that off, okay? So don't be afraid to give some girls and women leadership roles. So let's talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So we're all servicing young girls, women, and unfortunately, we ourselves, especially if you're serving Black girls of color or women, we understand that society and systematically we are disadvantaged because of that intersectionality. We have to understand who we're serving. If you all are serving a population, like let's just say your organization is trying to eradicate homelessness, or your organization is trying to provide opportunities for individuals who have lost a mother or a father, like a bereavement organization, you have to understand these needs. We might be here, right? Our organization, oh, I want to push a sense of connection. I want to push a sense of family and friendship. I want the girls to feel loved and sisterhood, and I want them to have self-esteem. I want them to have confidence and to know that they can do whatever they want in life. They can dream big. We have to understand that if these needs at the bottom are not met, it is nearly impossible to create self-esteem, a sense of belongingness, or even self-actualization. And let me put it in layman's terms for you all. If a girl is coming to school and she does not have proper food, there's no lunch provided, she might not eat school lunch, we all know, or her home life is unstable, it is nearly impossible for her to really have that sense of connection to a teacher, sense of connection and trust to friends, or even see herself as worthy. So I want us to keep this in mind when we are servicing our clientele. Make sure that they have clean air, right? That they have water, food, shelter, and they have adequate sleep. They are comfortable where they are sleeping, right? Because we know some of the populations we serve, there is plenty of siblings in one room, and there's plenty of people in one household. We have to understand that if we're not meeting those needs at first, or providing the resources, right? So your respective organization might not provide food or shelter, but you have to partner with organizations in your area to say, I'm going to ensure that you do get some clothes. I'm going to ensure that your family does get a grocery voucher, or that you do have personal security. Either you have employment. We have to understand that these first two bullet points are the most important. This is kind of what we all love, right? This is almost all of our organizations are looking to do this for girls and women. We want to inspire them. We want them to feel a sense of belonging, and we want them to see themselves as worthy and that they have value. But it's very hard if we're not doing these at the bottom first. Okay. And as I'm going, please drop some questions into the chat. Let me know how I am doing. If you all like what I say, like use some emojis. Let's be interactive as possible. Okay. So feel free to ask questions. So what does gender responsive even mean? Gender responsive is considering specific and unique needs of girls. Today, we're talking about girls. In relation to gender responsive, it can be boys as well. But today, it's all about girls. And so the learning materials, the methodologies, the content, the learning activities, language use, classroom interaction, assessment, and classroom setup are in response to the specific needs of girls. Okay? And so creating an environment, programs, content, and materials that responds to the realities of young girls' lives and addresses participants' issues. Okay, so we have to understand that girls are very unique in the way they develop. In parallel to boys, girls love relationships. That is the first foundation to everything. If you're a teacher or if you work with girls, you know, if they don't like you, and I know that sounds so like, well, a girl doesn't have to like me. Okay, but if you're trying to teach her something, the girl has to really trust you and like you and have that genuine relationship with you before you can even try to be like, oh, you need to go to this college, you need to fill out this application. That goes right over her head. She like, miss, I'm not hearing it. And that's fine. That's just the reality. And so that's why I say when you leave this call, I hope that you feel more inspired to be the best leader, best facilitator, best CEO that you can be, to ensure that the girls feel safe and that they feel like there's a relationship between you two, so that she is receiving those resources and she is open to change. Okay. So feel free to ask questions. And so let's talk about what girls need and what they deserve. So the overall goal, right, for all of us almost on this call, it really doesn't matter what we're doing in relation to, like, if we're trying, as I mentioned, eradicating homelessness, trying to provide equitable opportunities for girls and women. It's the same blueprint, the same foundation. Girls and women deserve healthy relationships with positive women who promote self-worth. So if you're a cheerleading coach, if you're a teacher, a CEO, you still need to have a positive relationship with these young girls. And I say positive because we are all human. We all have our personal emotions, but we have to set that aside whenever we're in front of these young girls and women. They are watching us. We are a role model to them. What are they really seeing and looking at? You all have to keep that in mind. Young girls and women deserve healthy relationships. They deserve organization. Okay, you all, I know how you might be thinking, all right, I have so much to do when I'm doing my group therapy, when I'm putting on these activities for the community, I have so much to do, right? But we have to keep in mind that the women and girls deserve to walk into events, small groups, discussions that are organized. If you need an agenda, create an agenda. Goes back to assign a young girl to be a girl leader. Use creative names, make an advisory board. The advisory board can be made up of young girls who are excited to be politicians or really are into their SGA or just want leadership roles. We have to have an organized environment for young girls. That's how girls and women thrive. We walk in, it's like, you're going to do this at this station, then you're going to do this, then you're going to follow up with the discussion. We're like, okay, as girls and women, that's just how we function. Don't be afraid to have structure within all of your programs when you're giving it to girls. If you need, like I said, a brochure, if you need some sort of agenda, don't be afraid to just implement some type of strategy to create an organized environment for those girls. Positive interactions. Girls relate best when chest to chest or face to face. Another gem, utilize girl circles. Girl circles are the best thing that happened after sliced bread, okay? And guess what? I bet you use girl circles when you're hanging out with your friends. Think about when you're in your living room hanging with your best girlfriends, someone might sit on the couch, someone might sit right in front of them. But what you don't even notice is that all of you all are chest to chest. It's very rare women and girls communicate with like our backs turned to each other. Now, boys can communicate like side by side, right? They just kind of, boys and men, they can kind of roll with the punches. But girls, we love positive, genuine relationships. Create a girl circle. If you're after school and if you're doing an after school program, move those chairs into a circle. If you have an open venue space, create a circle. If you're outside, sit on the floor in a circle. These circles are going to create a relationship. It's going to create just a sense of bonding that I believe is really important whenever you're trying to have a conversation or do things with girls. Even if I'm facilitating a whole program, the girls are still going to sit in a circle because when they're answering questions, they can be able to interact with one another. Girl circles are the best. Okay, so that's one thing. And then interactive activities. As I go throughout this presentation, you all will see, just like my icebreaker, there's interactive opportunities for you all to speak. Even if you have 30 plus girls, you all have to allow the floor for a girl to speak. You have to allow women to speak up. And so interactive activities, whether it is a Nearpod, whether it's like, hey, drop something in the chat, utilize your emojis, or you just ask an open-ended question. I really want you all to have interactive activities for the girls and women. It is very important. Okay, so again, girls deserve not only organized environments, but safe environments. Make sure that if you are talking about something that is a touchy subject, or you feel as if a parent overhearing might regulate how a girl even responds, you have to create a safe environment. You have to say, we're so happy that you were able to join your young girl as her guardian or parent. But right now during this discussion, we would really love to create a safe environment and allow the girls to speak freely. If you could sit outside in the lobby, that would be great. And we'll call you in about 10 minutes prior to ending the event. Bam. Right. I said that so nicely, professionally, to say, basically, we just want it to be a girl's time and a girl circle, but that is creating a safe environment. Also saying, if you all don't know, if you're working with young girls, when boys come around, it's a whole nother energy, right? So if you're really trying to interact with young girls, remove the boys, just have them sit in another room. Just even if it's a little brother, you'll be surprised. Even the little brother can kind of create an energy because we're trying to embrace feminine energy, right? So this is creating a safe environment. Okay, so one of my favorite things is gentle correction. Now, again, we can really talk freely because we are up under Southern Black girls. So when working in the Black community, we know in itself it's very unique. Gentle correction is a thing. As I say, I pray when you all walk out of this presentation, you're a whole different woman. You are ready to inspire and empower young girls. Gentle correction is a way to do that. My favorite example, a young girl comes in and she has the wrong bra strap. Old us, right, before being gender responsive, might be like, why is your bra hanging out? I can see your bra, right? That's not being gender responsive, or as we will get to, trauma informed. But how I want you all to respond is, have you ever got your bra size checked? Maybe I'll coordinate that for you. It is understanding that these girls don't know everything, especially if you're working with middle school and high school. She just woke up and she had boobs one day. She doesn't know what she's doing. Gentle correction is very important. Hey, young lady, when it comes to our hygiene, right? Teaching the young girls about feminine products, you can utilize feminine wipes. You can utilize certain colors of your undergarment so that it looks better with certain materials and colors. These girls, who is teaching these girls that, right? We don't have home economics anymore. You all are in a position to help these young girls and to really guide them, going back to that positive role model. And so gentle correction is very important. No need, like, let me just say, if you're a teacher, please stop sending that girl to IS because she doesn't have the right proper clothes on for school. Did you ask her what her closet, or if she even has, if it's accessible to her to have proper clothing? That is unfair. You are disrupting her education. That in essence, we are perpetuating the problem. To say just because a young girl is coming into class without proper wear, now she's getting kicked out of class and she has IS. Now she has an attitude. She might go from IS to expulsion. Now what? Now she's not in school just because she kept coming with inappropriate clothing. That's another thing that I'll say. I won't even jump the gun, but gentle correction, okay? So fair treatment, disciplinary actions. We have to understand the white counterparts to our young girls and women are not receiving the same disciplinary actions or punitive punishments, okay? When young white girls are coming into their classrooms with short shorts, it is not the same response. We, for some reason, and this, we'll look into what adultification means, but what we're doing is when a young Black girl comes into the classroom with shorts on, we're like, oh, she knows exactly what she's doing. She did that to be fast. She wants attention. Not in my classroom, not in my organization. But that goes back to gentle correction. They don't know what they don't know. We were assigned a divine mission to be in these positions that you're in. You have to be gentle, right? You have to be gentle and understand that these girls don't deserve these punitive punishments that we're giving. And we see that even with the juvenile justice system, right? We have a high rate with young Black and brown girls rather than their counterparts, because they're saying that, oh, this young Black or brown girl did this criminal offense. She knew better. She doesn't deserve an opportunity to improve. Please do not be that one perpetuating that in your own respective organization or your classroom. Be gender responsive. And so an extension of grace viewed as innocent. This goes back to the offset of adultification, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But I want you all to extend grace. Baby girl, I call the girls baby girl all the time because I want them to feel innocent. I want them to feel not necessarily small, but I can protect you as a older woman. You deserve protection, right? Even saying those types of terms. And so viewed as innocent, oh, she didn't know, she just doesn't know. Even if she's 17 years old in high school, I'm telling you, we know that our young Black and brown girls hit puberty faster. They wake up one day, they have hips and they have boobs. We cannot assume that they know what to do with that. They don't. And all that they're doing now is mirroring what they see in their communities or mirroring what they see on social media. You have to be that positive role model. Baby girl, when you're wearing that shirt, wear a sports bra. Or, when you're wearing, when you're going to gym, utilize this type of seamless undergarments so that you feel more comfortable. Okay. And then also the opportunities to improve. We know that these girls, even outside of what we view that they might be battling, they have a lot going on. Do not harbor that. I said, we're all human. I get that. And we are women in ourselves. And we are naturally just very in-tuned creatures, right? It is unfair that a girl yesterday had an attitude with you, and now today you just want to harbor that attitude with her. No. We're just removing that. We're extending grace. And so girls deserve a healthy, positive mentorship. Implement something that when these girls or women are coming into your organization or coming into your environment, you say, hey girl, hey, or you say, hey, beautiful, and you give compliments and you're just very inviting, very welcoming, okay? And the last thing is trauma-informed care. We're gonna watch a short video while we're watching it. I'm gonna check out the chat, but I want you all to understand trauma-informed care because these are two things I wanna take away from this presentation today: gender responsive and trauma-informed care. Okay, so what does that mean? Again, with the interactive videos.
We can't hear, Janelle.
Oh, you can't hear? Okay, let's see if I can see my system. Let's see if this will work. How about now? You can hear? You all can't hear? Okay.
No.
It's definitely something with my audio. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about now?
They never got better,
Yes.
despite multiple visits.
Yes.
Then,
Okay,
judge a book
let's
by
start it
its
over.
cover.
Trauma-informed care.
You know the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, the same is true when you assess a patient. Hi, I'm Dr. Cruz. Early in my career, I noticed a pattern with some of my patients. They often had multiple health issues, were uneasy during office visits, and frequently visited the emergency department. But worst of all, they never got better despite multiple visits. Then I realized something. From an early age, many of my patients were exposed to trauma and adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. This includes emotional, sexual, or physical abuse, violence, neglect, discrimination, poverty, and other adverse events. ACEs are more common in the US than you'd think. In fact, 60% of US adults have one ACE, 25% have 3 or more ACEs, and 16% have 4 or more. ACEs occur in all socioeconomic groups, but are more common in low-income and minority populations. For young children, repeated exposure to trauma can impact brain development and literally rewire the brain's response to stress. So as they grow up, many struggle with issues related to emotional regulation, like depression, anxiety, or substance use disorders. Trauma survivors are also more often at risk for chronic diseases, behavioral health problems, and even suicide. Knowing all this, I began to rethink my approach to care. Instead of asking patients, "What's wrong with you?" I ask, "What happened to you?" Recognizing that life experiences are often a root cause of poor health is integral to improving patient care. Trauma-informed care has helped me take these experiences into account, providing greater insight into my patients' needs and how to address them. Here are 5 key ways that healthcare organizations can gradually integrate trauma-informed care into their practices to help patients and staff. First, build awareness and generate buy-in. Involve both staff and patients in adopting a trauma-informed approach. Second, invest in a trauma-informed workforce. Hire staff that embrace trauma-informed care and provide training not only for clinical staff, but also for non-clinical employees like front desk workers or security guards, who are often the face of your organization. Next, create an environment that is safe and welcoming for patients and staff. Engage patients in meaningful ways. Ask how they feel and listen. You can also build trust by involving them in their own treatment planning. Finally, identify and treat trauma. Consider a screening approach that works for your patients and ensure that treatments and referral sources are available. These changes take time, but each step improves our ability to connect with and care for patients. Today, our patients appreciate the changes we've made, plus our staff is more in tune with patients, so work is less stressful and more rewarding. Trauma-informed care. It can truly transform the caregiving experience from being treaters to being healers.
I hope you all learned a little bit more about trauma-informed care just from that video, and you will see that utilizing YouTube videos just allows people to stay focused on whatever you're trying to teach. So please utilize different YouTube videos, and if you all have any questions from that short video, please let me know. Just drop it in the chat. So moving forward, this is a study that was done by Georgetown. And so this, I feel as if I should have put the link to this, but Google this study even when we get off the call. This is going to drive a lot of our work because we talked about this, right? We talk about how young Black girls and Black women get treated differently. But finally, someone did a study. To say, oh, what these women were feeling is actually what's going on. So there was a study done with adults, and it didn't even say the demographic of adults, which is good. It could have been white or brown, Black. And so, but it was adults in general. They took a survey, and it was perceived that, this gets me every time, Black girls need less nurturing. Black girls need less protection. Black girls need to be supported less. Black girls need to be comforted less. Black girls are more independent. Black girls know more about adult topics, and Black girls know more about sex. These findings all drive how individuals and people interact with young Black girls and women. So as you can see right here, it says that our findings reveal a potential contributing factor to the disproportionate rates of punitive treatment in the education and juvenile justice systems for Black girls. Meaning these unfortunately, the teachers, the principals, the people who are in the system of care in relation to education and juvenile justice system, the number of Black girls in relation to their white counterparts, it might reveal a potential contributing factor because adults are viewing Black girls as needing less protection, less support, need to be comforted less. For example, a young girl is in your class, and a young Black girl, and she's just, her head is down, her hood is over her head, she has her earphones in. She's just zoned out. Going back to being trauma-informed and gender responsive, we have to understand, is everything okay? Probably needs to be our first question. Then you're disrupting my classroom. If you don't want to learn today, you can get out. We have to understand that disrupting her education is a risk factor to her even getting involved in the juvenile justice system. And so I want us to take a snapshot of this data, because this is what, again, there was no demographic of adults who were the participants that took this survey. So this could be us, right? A young Black girl, we might think, oh, she all right. She all right. She don't need any type of protection. She could walk home by herself. She okay. 14 years old, like, okay, she got it on herself, or supported less, right? That, like, even affection. Oh, she doesn't need a hug. I don't need to rub her back. She might have a hard day, but no need to rub her back. She'll be all right. or more independent. Even if she says she got it, baby girl, let me help you. I got you. Let me send a resource your way. Let me coordinate how I can get with you outside of business hours to ensure that you get to and from. Okay, so we have to understand that this is how adults all around the nation is looking at our young Black girls, and then they grow up to be women. And we know as Black women, this isn't too far from, right? This is not too far. So common provider issues. Adultification. So this goes back to, if you do look into the research study that I just brought up, Georgetown Girl Interrupted, adultification is basically forcing youth to grow up before their time. We actually see this with our Black and brown boys as well, right? We're like, he's like 5 years old and literally people are like, oh, he a grown man. Oh, he's 5. Like he's 5, let the baby be a baby, right? And so even for the young girls, it's like we are saying if she did hit puberty, that we're assuming that she is an adult and that she can make adult decisions and that she has proper critical thinking skills. It's just like we assume that she is much older in her age psychologically than she actually is. That actually has long-term effects, because she might get involved in unhealthy relationships, because since she was 11, people were never treating her like she was 11. So no one ever even talked to her about what a healthy relationship looks like, because she already looked maybe 17 and people are like, oh, she got it. And going back to that study, people might be like, oh, she already knows about sex. That's not true. Like, that is not true. And this goes back to even slavery times with the Jezebel and people looking at us as Black women to say, oh, we just are sexual, hypersexual beings. That is not true. Please, let's not perpetuate that with our young Black girls. We have to have gentle correction. We have to be a positive role model to teach them about healthy relationships, teach them about being safe sex, right? And so long-term effects can be difficulty functioning independently. And that goes back because we assume since she's young that she's independent, that she knows what she's doing. So now when she gets older, she actually doesn't know what she's doing because no one took the time out to teach her, because everyone assumed that she got it at a young age. And again, we're perpetuating that strong Black woman in a young age, and that's unfair. We have to give support and love and nurture to these young girls. It also can have long-term effects of greater risk of anxiety, depression, substance use, and eating disorders. Okay, so some other common provider issues is unconscious bias. We ourselves have to understand that we are human, and sometimes our biases can get in the way of the resources and services that we're providing. It goes back to understanding that every girl, every woman is going through something. She has her own story. We're already going through gender biases, and now it could be race, right? Because we are serving Black and brown communities, but even beauty. When we are serving certain populations, we have to understand that beauty plays a role in how people service these young girls. When they walk into a doctor's office, unfortunately, if they don't look the par, air quotes, look the par to what a doctor might seem to be appropriate attire in the doctor's office, even his type of service and quality of care decreases. So please do not perpetuate that within your own classroom. That's why I say go back to gentle correction. Help these girls. If they need to be in appropriate clothing, if they need to have their hair done, help them. Please do not assume that they know what they're doing. We have to have positive guidance. So lack of opportunities. This goes back to sometimes us as providers. We have an issue with this. We are assuming, oh, she's not ready to speak on stage. Well, have you had one-on-one time to prep her to speak in public? Have you taken the time out to pour some confidence in her so that she can have a leadership role? We have to provide opportunities. And sometimes these biases like fall into this the lack of opportunity, because we're like, oh, she is behind in school, so she wouldn't want to lead a discussion about STEM. She never pays attention in science class, so she won't want to talk about math. We have to provide opportunities for our young girls to thrive, to showcase their skill sets, and that's us providing that platform. Okay, so that's sometimes this can be our our fault, right? As providers, we are adultifying our own clientele. We have our own biases, and then like lack of opportunities. We're not providing a platform to say, baby girl, go show your stuff. You're going to be the speaker for today's event. You're going to lead the group discussion. You're going to lead the icebreaker. You have to provide a platform for girls to grow and showcase their skill sets. Okay, so back to trauma-informed care. We're switching it up to what's wrong with you, to what happened to you, how are you feeling, is everything okay? And in your respective organization or fields, I want you to think of your welcoming, your greeting, right? Is it going to be, hey girl, hey? Always have a smile. You got to have energy. You all should know this, right? We have to have, we love feminine energy. We embrace feminine energy. So if they're coming into even a virtual setting, I hope you all even feel my energy through this virtual meeting, right? So then in person, imagine being able to embrace and promote feminine energy. Hey girl, hey, thanks for joining us. Oh my gosh, I love those shoes. So fetch. Whatever you need to say for the girls and women to feel welcomed. And then even when you're checking in on them, not why is your bra strap showing? Or even discussing things outside of the person, like, did you see that she was wearing the same pants 3 times? Being trauma informed is, I wonder if she has extra pants. Maybe I can go to Goodwill and get her some extra pants. Maybe I can create some sort of like a closet in my classroom so that girls who don't have accessibility to appropriate clothing can get just that. We have to get in this trauma-informed care mindset because who we're serving deserves unique, specific care. And so trauma-informed care seeks to realize the impact of trauma and understand the paths for recovery. So you have to understand, if you all know that your clientele just lost somebody, you have to respect the path for recovery. Okay, it's not in 1 week that she's going to be participating. But one thing we do know, we should never give up on our young girls, young women or girls. You keep on knocking, you keep on trying. You tell her every day, hey girl, hey, I'm so happy that you joined us. Hey girl, hey, you looking good today. Whatever it is, you respect that path for recovery. Recognize the signs and symptoms of trauma in clients. In school, it's a little different. Energy itself is a good indicator. If she's lethargic, she has her head down often, she's wearing maybe the same clothes over and over again. She was really a high performer in the beginning of the year. For some odd reason, she's not talking, she's isolated. Realize and recognize the signs and symptoms of trauma so that we can begin to be trauma informed and give her the type of care that she deserves. Integrate knowledge about trauma into policies, procedures, and practices. So you basically want to just create a classroom or an organization, whatever you're doing, your girl groups, your women-led groups, providing a service, you want to integrate knowledge about trauma into your policies, procedures, and practices. Here at YWCA, we actually do have something called the Harmony House, and individuals who were involved in domestic violence issues it's a shelter for these young women. And so all of the staff are certified in trauma-informed care, because imagine being in a situation, a domestic violence situation, going to get care, and that person is not even recognizing that you just went through something very traumatic. They're asking you questions that's off the wall. They're just not being patient with you or gentle with you. We deserve gentleness as Black girls, Black women, and especially when we're providing a service. So actively avoid re-traumatization, right? So we as a whole should always know that no matter if they've expressed it or not, because we know the disparities that are affecting and plaguing our Black and Brown communities, everyone has some sort of childhood trauma. And so how we interact with people in general should just be, it's not that I'm not trying to step on your toes, but I just know that if I'm a little bit more gentle in my discussion or my correction, that I could avoid re-traumatizing that individual. We know that in our communities, it's already can be a little harsh, and they jokingly say there's no love in the hood. That's not true. The moment that we become trauma informed, love can overflow, right? And that's what we're trying to give, love. So I actually want us to watch something. This goes back to the interactive piece. We're going to watch something really quickly. This is a show that I watch. It is for young women. And this is an interaction with a doctor who is not trauma informed and not gender responsive. And as we're watching, let's chat about it in the chat.
This is why my family doesn't fuck with doctors. They don't treat us anyway. Most they do is experiment, like Tuskegee,
The Ralph sisters,
Mississippi appendectomy.
Henrietta Lacks.
So, hello here. So, you're
Hey, Miss Janelle, we're not seeing it.
Okay, and what about the back of the
Oh, that's just Aunt Flo being a tough house guest. When your cycle's over.
Miss Janelle, we can't see the video.
It's been more than a few days. I've been on my period for 11 days now.
Sam, I think she might be having a problem hearing because she's not like, she's shaking her head. I don't think she can hear you.
Okay.
Maybe put her a note in the chat,
Yeah,
in the private chat.
Mhm.
We have a very strict policy against prescribing opioids. And
What, baby?
Well, from what I hear, this community isn't the one that you need to be worried about. Now, my friend
Okay.
is in serious pain. You have not done any ultrasounds, any
As a
checks.
doctor, I have a blood work and that tells me all I need. Have you tried relaxing meditation? This could all just be stress in your head. I'll have the nurse get started on blood transfusion. Ooh. Oh, negative. Universal donor. You should consider getting on a regular donation schedule. A lot of people could really use your help.
I'm sorry. Did you just tell her that
Oh, you all can't see the video? I wish I could have known that. You all heard it though, right?
We was hearing some of it. We was trying to, yeah, I was trying to
Let's see. Going
get
back.
your attention.
Little
I don't
technical
think the girls
difficulty.
either.
So did you all at least hear it? Thumbs up, maybe? Did you all hear it?
A little bit.
Okay, you heard it. Let's see if we can just quickly new share. Let's see. Do you all see the screen?
Yes,
You all see the screen? Okay,
we see you touching the arrow. There's the video.
let's press play.
But it's not showing.
You might have to do a full screen as well because it's a little box.
Okay. Thank you. No video. Thank you for letting me know, you all. Okay, so I need to know, can you all see the video now? Thumbs up.
No,
No.
Jeannie, thumbs up. Can you see the video? Okay, so I don't know why it's not working. Oh, I probably do know why, because it's Amazon and Amazon might have rights to it. They don't want us to have a watch party, but maybe you heard it, right? So what I want to say is, if you heard it, you might have been a little taken aback. And, or if you heard it, you might have experienced that, where you are in the doctor's office and you say, as a young Black girl or woman, a minority woman, something hurts and they give you medicine for something else, or they're like, oh, does it really hurt? Like, are you sure? And so that's what I'm trying to avoid when we're servicing our clientele, right? We want to listen to them. We want to hear their needs. We want to study their needs so that we can give them gender responsive care, something that is specific and unique to that need. Okay, and so if you didn't hear, it was basically in the doctor's office, a woman had her period for 11 days, and he was like, well, it's no biggie. Like, we have your blood work, so we'll look into it. I think you're just anemic. We
Mhm.
don't want to do that when these girls are coming to us with serious issues and problems. So this is something, if you all can, take a picture of this. These are quick and easy gender responsive practices to add to your services. And so feminine hygiene products in your facility. If you are servicing girls and women, you definitely want to somehow have accessible feminine hygiene products, whether it be pads, tampons, panty liners, or feminine wipes. It is the perfect gender responsive practice that you can implement in your own respective organization. Remember those girl circles I mentioned, as well as embrace sisterhood and conflict resolution. You really don't want to allow girls to maybe bicker with one another and not provide a healthy way to get through that conflict. So you yourself maybe look into some conflict resolution methods and practices to ensure that when girls are arguing, you have some sort of, okay, like, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about it, whatever process you feel as if is necessary. So accessible hygiene products or appropriate clothes. So this is separate from feminine hygiene products. I was really referring to also like lotion, lip glosses. If you all, I'm just telling, I know that there's an educator on this call and you've been in classroom and a girl just is like so distracted that her hands or ankles are ashy. Like it's like the end of the world for these young girls, right? And or if she's like, I need some lip gloss and there's no lip gloss, it's like, she's like, I don't even want to pay attention to what we're reading. I don't even want to listen to the teacher. I just want, like, I need a comb. I need a brush for my hair. And this goes back to even what society says about our young Black girls and women, that we always do need to be well put together in order to even receive respect. We know that's unfair and untrue. So it's not that we're saying we're trying to negate what that young girl feels. We're not saying, oh girl, you don't need no lip gloss. To her, she needs that lip gloss, okay? So for us, we're in a position to provide that. I challenge all of you all, look into your budget, see if you can just buy a little hand lotion, some brushes and combs, any type of hygiene, feminine products, or appropriate clothing. There's a lot of organizations, especially serving a homeless population or women who are leaving a domestic violence situation. You can offer some clothes. And so at your school, if you have an open closet, turn that closet into like a whole boutique and allow the girls, when they're in inappropriate clothing, to go and receive professional clothing or something that's more appropriate for your organization or your school. But we want to stop interrupting their education. We want to stop saying, you keep asking about this brush, you got to leave the classroom. You're asking everybody in the classroom for lip gloss. You're disrupting your classmates. You got to go. No, it's like, baby girl, here's a lip gloss. Please pay attention. I'm teaching math now. And just let her go about her business as well. We just have to have more of a gentle correction guidance, right? So we want to embrace trauma-informed care, implement interactive activities like, as you all saw, the YouTube videos. Amazon didn't want me to do that, and we know why, right? Amazon's like, oh, we have all the rights. Y'all ain't gonna have no watch party without signing in. Use colors. As you all can see, my presentation is very gender responsive. It's not that when we're talking about girls, it's specifically pink, but girls in general understand and really appreciate colors. If it's blue, blue has a very calming feature, and you all can even look up some evidence-based when it comes to colors, like what do colors do for a mood, and see if you're trying to incorporate or ignite a mood in your respective organization, see what colors you should be utilizing, right? And then affirmations. I hope you have your pen and pencil. A gem is go ahead, take some sticky notes, go to the girls' bathroom and put some cute affirmations and put those sticky notes on that mirror and just say, girl, you look great today. Girl, you'll get straight A's this semester, whatever affirmations. And I keep saying schools because we might have educators here, but if you're in your organization as well, go to that bathroom, because even for women, for staff, you go to the bathroom, you look up and it's like, oh, I am beautiful. Like, oh, like I can speak very well, whatever the case may be, but use affirmations. Even if you put affirmations all around your center, all around your organization, all around your classroom, allow girls to receive and affirm who they are when it comes to value and self-worth. So always create an inviting, an engaging atmosphere. Aromatherapy. If you are giving therapeutic services, you definitely want to utilize aromatherapy in itself. Okay, so you want to allow, maybe not a candle because you might be in an office building, but utilize plugins. Plugins are pretty simple. Utilize things that just smell, spray a little Lysol. You and I both know when we walk into a room and it smells fresh and clean, we ourselves feel a little bit more safer and we just feel a little bit more welcomed. If you are meeting with young girls and women regularly, please have an incentive. Young girls, it's not about an instant gratification, but food is probably the easiest way to a young girl's heart. Pizza is easy. Locate your nearest pizza parlor, see if they can give you a discount, tell them what you're doing for the community and see how they can help you, right? So incentives, even if it's community service hours for attending a group or if it's a certificate, you all can make a certificate on Canva, or Canva is a visual platform to create things. You all can make a certificate and say, thank you for joining us for 5 consecutive group therapies. This is your certificate. Something to show the girl, oh, I completed it, I did it. Look at something for her to be proud of, some type of incentive. Again, be loving, be gentle, and be patient. Give compliments and acknowledge growth. Wow, I remember the first time you attended our program, you didn't say a word. I'm so happy that you're so involved. You've taken on leadership positions. I love the way you carry yourself and how you speak so eloquently. I am very proud of you. That is a beautiful, well-said compliment. That young girl will receive it. Young woman or young girl will receive it. Okay, now I want to hear from you all. There's about 25 people on the call, and I want to hear from you all. What is one gender responsive practice that you will implement? I'm going to stop sharing, and then we'll get to something else. I'm going to stop sharing. Anyone on the call, at least one person, what is one gender responsive or trauma informed practice that you will now implement in your respective organization or your business or working with the young girls? At least one person.
I'll go, and I'll say that being just more gentle in our responses around still empowering them to go for what it is that they have their heart set on, but just being a little bit more gentle.
Is someone speaking? Can you all? Okay.
When you were on the slide that mentioned about being that strong Black woman, I think that it resonated, right? Sometimes unconsciously, we will be empowering them to be strong and resilient, all those things, but going a bit too overboard with it. And I think coming out of COVID-19, I just attended a commencement this morning, just thinking about all the things that those students went through to get to that space, and all of the language that we may have used during that time that wasn't as gentle or sensitive that it could have been, and not giving ourselves grace because we did what we knew and none of us had ever lived through something like this. But one of my very biggest takeaways from today was to not allow unconscious bias or the adultification that has happened in generations prior to continue on in the way that we are serving Black girls and women.
Well said, and I'm happy you took that, and I am excited to see how you implement that and how that grows your organization. Maybe one or two other people would like to share. What are going to be your takeaways? Ms. Cheryl, I saw you get off mute. Okay. Yes, Ms. Kathy.
Keeping feminine hygiene items at our site.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's so important. So many young girls, no one ever has to talk with them about the change and that comes with age. And like for me, I started menstruating when I was 9. You know, nobody talked to me. I was too young, and it happens with a lot of young girls. And so that's something that we have to be mindful of. And in a lot of, I'm in Mississippi, okay, and so we have a lot of young mothers, and you know, they're doing the best they can, but the mothers just don't know. So you know, we just have to use that village and do the best that we can to make the lives better for these kids.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And I'm happy that you all are definitely having some takeaways. The last thing that I'll share is just to encourage you all. These are some helpful characteristics to embody when you're working with girls and women. We have to stay level-headed, right? If a young girl has an attitude, we cannot mirror that attitude. We ourselves have to be planted and rooted in who we are and what we were called to do. You were called to inspire and empower. You have to do just that. You have to keep a level head, allow the higher being to use you, is what I'll say. You want to have high energy, right? I hope you all have felt my energy. You all will be surprised when you're in a good mood, how that can really rub off on other people. So you want to, good morning, good afternoon, welcome to the group therapy. And the first time you do it, people might look at you crazy. And the second time, they're going to appreciate it. Eventually, girls and women appreciate high energy. It is exciting to be a girl. It is exciting to be a woman. So you want to be creative and innovative. You all saw how I utilize YouTube. I was utilizing just videos. Whenever you're trying to have a program or even therapy, be creative, be innovative. Go outside sometimes, utilize presentations that are aesthetically pleasing. We want you to also embody and be caring, open-minded, and active listener. Be honest, be trustworthy, right? So especially if we're working in these fields of therapy or servicing these really disadvantaged communities, trust is big. Trust is very big. They should be able to trust you. And then be fun, be yourself, be quirky. I feel like you all might understand my personality a little bit now. Be yourself, be fun. It does not need to be so serious, even though you're providing a serious service. I understand that piece, but she needs to feel loved. And love is not rigid. Love is not linear. Love is so big, it's grand. And so be yourself, be fun, be exciting, and then be knowledgeable and resourceful. If you don't have an answer, let me figure that out for you. Let me look into that for you. I know an organization that can help you with that. Oh, you're looking to go in college? Go to college, hop onto this Zoom that I know they're helping with college students. Oh, you haven't spoken to your brace advisor? Let me call your brace advisor to schedule a meeting with you. And if you want me to sit in with that, I'll do just that. We have to be resourceful. If you all don't have the answer, that's perfectly fine. That's why we were in the position to collaborate, look to our right and our left, ask another organization or system of care to help you out. And so your homework is to implement a gender responsive and trauma informed practice within your organization, or to just begin the conversation. Start saying, hey, how do we get our staff trauma informed certified? How do we look into more gender responsive programming? Begin the conversation, but also from this presentation, I really hope that you all receive some sort of practice that you can implement. And so I'll turn it over to Sam. I hope you all enjoyed my presentation. I did put my email in the chat, and I'll do it one more time. And I really hope that you all were inspired and empowered from today's presentation.
Miss Janelle, thank you for all them gems, homegirl. It was excellent. It was a nice presentation. I think we all learned a lot from it. Thank you for putting your information into the chat, because a lot of people want to get in contact with you because you are the truth, and we appreciate that. We really do. Okay, so I did put the survey link in there. A lot of you guys already told me, like, hey, it was from last week. Again, I told you I was a substitute today. You know, the real person, she's not here. So she forgot to change that up, but the date will let us know that it was for this session here. Okay, so go ahead and complete it for us, and we will be seeing you guys. Follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We will let you know what is the next session topic. She didn't give me the information today, but I know she have it already down pat. And that's it. We're going to enjoy your day. Do anybody have any questions for Miss Janelle before we end the call? I see a lot of thank yous in the chat. All right. Well, Miss Janelle, we love you. And thank you for coming and doing this session with us today. All right. Everybody else, y'all have a good Black Girl Joy Day today. See y'all later.